I'm Johnny Vegas, and you're listening to KopTalk with Dunk. And all you other Liverpool sites, just stop embarrassing yourself, all right?
Yo, what up? This your boy Smooth, straight from New York. You're listening to KopTalk Podcast. Remember this, you never walk alone, but if you fuck with us, you walk with a limp.
All right, guys, how's it going? It is Friday, the 5th of May, 2023, and you're listening to the KopTalk Podcast. All right, how's it going, guys? You all right? Yeah. Well, the weekend is here. Usually I go out for a few sherbets with my friends on a Friday, but I've not done that for a few weeks. I feel a lot better for it. So, no, there'll be no sherbets today, but I'm sure there will be over the weekend at KopTalk.tv. Saturday night streaming. I think we're doing it Saturday night. I think so. I'm not sure yet. How are you doing? You all right? Yeah, okay. I don't know where we're starting today, to be honest with you. I've done a couple of videos that are on KopTalk.tv. I'm just looking to see what they are. One was like a general roundup of the football gossip, from today. One was to do with Ryan Gravenberch. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I already forgot. I know it's not Gravenberch. It's like Gravenberch or something like that. And there's a vid on there about that, which is about 20 minutes long, which I should mention on here, really. Basically, that the deal is stacked. It's a term I use called stacked. And if I go onto the KopTalk VIP members website, it'll be easier for me just to look at the notes that I put on there earlier. Basically, the deal is stacked and ready for Liverpool to try and negotiate a fee if they so wish. Right now, I believe that is dependent on what happens with Allister and possibly Ugarte or another biggie, because the Ugarte one's not simple, I don't think. But I think that Allister, the fee needs to be down on that, guys, because that could affect another big signing. So, we need to pray that fee's all right, because it could have a knock-on effect. So I do believe that our move for Gravenberch at the moment is dependent on that and maybe another big transfer. In other words, he's not a priority target, but he is wanted. Now, there have been multiple sit-downs between ourselves and the players' representatives and family, both in Liverpool, which won't come as a surprise, and also outside the UK. Now, the family apparently have given their blessing, and personal finances appear not to be an issue. Now, the thing is, his club don't want to sell. And if Liverpool choose to push, for this deal, all that remains from it happening is an agreement on the fee. So, if it happens before any deal, I think it's a good sign that major progress has been made elsewhere. However, I think the total focus right now is on the other two at the moment. So, I would call it like stacking a deal up. So, it's not. Liverpool don't have complete control, but they're in a strong position. The player wants to move to Liverpool. It's just that his club don't want to sell. And right now, Liverpool just need to keep an eye on that transfer budget on the bigger deals and see what happens. So again, if that was the first deal that was announced, which wouldn't surprise me if it was, I think that means that Liverpool are all right financially, or they've made something happen with, say, Allister or something like that, who I believe remains our primary focus at the moment. I think he wants to move, and I think it all sounds very promising. I know there's some ITK stuff going around today on social media about Ugarte. I wouldn't pay any attention to that at the present time. That was that was the video that I put on KopTalk.tv today. Which is about Gravenberch. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know. I might do more videos yet. I'm going live actually very, very soon, so I can't. This podcast can't be too long. To be honest with you, I did mean to do it yesterday, but I ran out of time. And do you know what? I completely forgot. So James Milner is on his way to Brighton. I would like to have seen him go to Leeds, but he's gone to Brighton, which is probably the best run club in the Premier League at the moment. I wish him well. I saw this. I don't know. I might have mentioned this in a video earlier. I did take a screenshot of this yesterday to remind myself. Let me see if I can find it for you. It's just a bizarre, fact. It says James Milner will leave Liverpool having made more appearances for the club than Kevin Keegan, Terry McDermott, Jan Molby and Michael Owen. Only 12 players have made more league appearances for Liverpool in the Premier League era than Milner. Just like to think that he's made more appearances than Keegan, McDermott, Molby, Owen, people like that is incredible. And maybe the recognition isn't there as much, for him. It certainly isn't for me, which I kind of feel a little bit disappointed in myself, really, that I didn't know that. I don't know if it's because time just goes so fast when you're talking about Liverpool every day of the week. Like I couldn't tell you what year we signed Mo Salah, for example, but I bet you lot can. I can't. I have an absolute horrendous memory. And I don't know. I say I have an horrendous memory, but I think it's when it comes to Liverpool. But, I can tell you about a goal Liverpool scored in 1988 or 86 and, who set it up, where it went for. I can put a game on TV and go, I know exactly what happens now. But when it comes to remembering some of these transfer links or players, I think it got worse after the COVID, because we had that period where we just down tools for so long and didn't have football. It was like, when it started again, it was like, well, was it the last transfer window or did we miss one? Stuff like that. But no doubt about it, James Milner, when you think how we signed him and the contribution he's made, I wish the lad well, delighted for him, to be completely honest with you. That's all on its way to being resolved. Now, there's a journalist called Neil Jones that writes for Goal. He says Liverpool retain an interest in Brighton midfield duo Alexis McAllister and Moses Caicedo. I don't really think that's rocket science, to be honest with you. And, when I mention journalists and say whether, when I say I like them or not, it doesn't mean them personally, right? So it's irrelevant to me whether Neil Jones is a nice kid or not. I just look at what I think about these journalists. And Neil Jones isn't one that I pay attention to in the slightest. And I'm sure if he heard that, coming from anybody, any fan, he'd probably not like that. But it's only because it's more to do with who these journalists are connected to and whether they're safe journalists, whether they just toe the line, whether they're this, that and the other. I would still read what he's got to say, but he's not someone that I'm going to pay attention to. And it's been said to me recently that he's changed his style a little bit, and maybe he might be one of those journalists that would call out the owners and stuff like that. So, like I say, it really isn't that I don't like Neil Jones or anyone. He's probably a lovely kid, But then again, I'm sure he has his opinions about people like me. He probably thinks I'm a knob jockey. Do you know what I mean? It don't really matter. In football, we all have opinions about players, managers, coaches, fans, everything. It's not personal, right? And I've got to be honest with you. If you follow my streams, and when we do a live stream, whenever we start talking about journalists, even journalists that I haven't really got much time for, you'll see, watch my face, I cringe a little. I don't like it. I don't like hating on anybody or it to be read like that. It makes me uncomfortable. And I prefer sometimes in my videos to say a particular journalist. Do you know what I mean, guys? I don't like it. I don't like singling journalists out. They're doing a job, and I'm sure they get a lot of shit and flack for it, but it comes with the territory. When I look at KopTalk over the years and the amount of hate I've had, people will say, God, I've get some hate online. I used to get it, fucking hell, terrible. But then I'd say, well, it comes with the territory. That's what you do. If you're going to make videos, if you're going to make claims, if you're going to stand up to people, if you're going to call people out, if you're going to use the word click and top reds and stuff like that, people are going to have an opinion about you as well. So you've got to be prepared for that, But just I want to make it clear, I don't have a problem with any journalist. I mean, one of the mainstream journalists, Liverpool journalists that I would consider to be a clique that works for one of the nationals, basically was quite threatening. What's the word when someone not insinuating, threatening, but without saying it, without saying I'm going to have you. Just menacing, do you know what I mean, towards me once before. But even him, I wouldn't say, well, I hate him. He didn't like that I knew something he didn't know one time, And I know that he was stood in a group of people at Melwood and someone told me. And when I mentioned it in an editorial, he called me out of the blue. He said, how do you know about that? I said, well, I do. And it was just like he was a bit like vibing me out on that, But even so, even though that would give most people a reason to be smart with them and that, or to hold an agenda against them, I ain't got a problem with him. I ain't got a problem with anyone. New Liverpool kit released, obviously. That's out and about. Oh, have you seen all these Liverpool fucking fan accounts hammering away on Twitter, pushing all the links and that? Jesus. I mean, look, I have affiliations with these companies that sell the Liverpool kit, including the official Liverpool Football Club setup, if you like, store. They approached me. I didn't approach them. And they, many years ago, I've got the thing. I never use it. I'm not bothered with stuff like that, guys. I do like it. I do like it. That's the most important thing. But be careful of people trying to gain attention today and then to be promoting the kit at the same time or in a subsequent tweet. All right? So they want to grab your attention today. Now, getting away from all the click and the fucking all them people, they don't all do my head in. Sporting CP midfielder Manuel Ugarte has reportedly given the green light to sign for Liverpool. Now, this is coming from LFC Transfer Room. You don't pay attention to LFC Transfer Room, guys. If you want to, that's up to you. I shouldn't be saying that, really. It's up to you to make your own decisions. But what I found very interesting was when the Liverpool Echo, the Fenway Echo, quoted this thing, they said, they mentioned that it was a tweet, and they included this statement in a tweet to their 241,000 followers. Why are they emphasising that? Why do they want you to know why that account's got 241,000 followers? Is that impressive or is that poor? I've probably got a tenth of that, but I don't try and target the kids. You know what I mean? So are they trying to give that ground here? Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm biting my tongue a little bit at the moment about... I'm seeing some stuff on social media and Twitter, right? And I don't want to mention any names at the moment, but I've seen a lot of cross... promotion and tweeting, and there's a connection between some of these accounts, and I haven't found it yet. And I'm not being paranoid here. I know for a fact I'm right, but I can't place my finger on it at the moment. If you use Twitter, please listen to what I'm saying to you. If you follow these accounts, these Liverpool accounts, if you keep an eye on things, see if you can find not a connection. See if you can see some of these accounts and think, well, why is that account mentioning him, and vice versa? There's something there, I'm telling you. Now, right, you might think that sounds a bit paranoid. Let me explain something to you, and I'm really trying not to be patronising. So sometimes a Liverpool supporter might say, oh, I've seen this written by the Newcastle area media, right, the North East media. It's on their regional newspaper. Now, regional newspapers traditionally are very close to the clubs that they report on, right? More so than the nationals. That's where it used to be. It's not like that today. But some people that might not realise the changes, so say like the Chronicle, the North East, and they'll have their online version. I don't know what it's called. They might write something about a Liverpool interest in a player. And then on Merseyside, you've got the Fenway Echo doing the same. And then people go, well, it's interesting because both regional newspapers have touched on this now. But what a lot of people don't understand is that these are all owned by Reach PLC, right? So them two journalists are probably sat in the same room or connected to each other somewhere along the line. And it is all about cross-promotion. Now, I've noticed... Now, listen, guys, you've got to trust me with this. I've done this shit for a long time. And I watch everything, right? And I'm seeing certain accounts on Twitter trying to give prominence to people on Twitter, and I don't understand it. And I know that some of these accounts are paid to retweet, okay? Even some of the accounts you wouldn't understand. So if there's a big... that you wouldn't understand why they do that. So if a really big, like, established name, not... I'm talking about someone's name, like John Smith, not a name of a... You know what I mean? Like, instead of, like... Not KopTalk, but John Smith, a personality, a journalist or someone. You might see them retweeting stuff and they get paid for that. You know, like, so if you look at that indie account, for example, if you have a Twitter account, you drop him an inbox, I want you to retweet this, he'll retweet it, right? And he gets paid for that. They will give him cash to do that, right? So, but I'm seeing this happening on places where that's not obvious that that's happening. And I don't understand it. And I know you have not got a fucking clue what I'm talking about right now. But let's just say I've got your back. I keep an eye on everything, and I'll find it out. I will find it out. So if you are hardcore on Twitter like me, I don't really follow these accounts, but they come up on stuff that I monitor on keywords. You'll see. And if you have noticed that, please email me privately, dunk@koptalk.com, because I don't understand what the connection is. So I don't know. My first thoughts about this was that someone somewhere has set up like a company or something, and they're using 3, 4, 5 different names and brand names or something to try and get like a monopoly on Twitter with the speculation. Now, you might think, well, don't you starting to sound a bit tin-atty? No, because this is what happened many years ago with websites. All right, you used to have a hub of websites, of which I was a part of. 2 of them. One was called Football Network, and the other one was called Footy Mad. And it's in their interest to promote their members underneath that, if you know what I mean, and everyone gets a slice of the money. And I'm just wondering if someone's actually doing that on Twitter now and realise that there's big money in bullshit, really. So I'm watching it, and maybe you don't care about it. I don't know. You should care about it, because when you read something, you should read something and think, I know that's posted in good faith. All right. Now let's get back to this point. In a tweet today, 241,000 followers. I'm not sure why we're being told this. LFC transfer room revealed information, guys. Revealed. Not posted, revealed information following a conversation with the journalist. They said, exclusive at B. Cookman, Ugarte has the okay from the backroom management staff for the move to LFC, but it's now down to LFC in the negotiations with Sporting. Ugarte would love to play for LFC, and that could help negotiations, but it won't depend 100% on him. I don't believe that, personally. This Ugarte thing, I think, is actually relevant to what's going on with Buggerlugs, McAllister, in terms of costing and things like that. I did put a members video up on YouTube yesterday, and also on the members website. Go and have a watch. I think it will explain a few things to do with that. It's just honestly so much trouble. I don't know. Am I obsessed with Liverpool news? I don't know. Keep an eye on things, guys. Just be careful out there, right? Because they will try and mislead you. Maybe it don't matter if they're misleading you. Maybe newspapers have done it for years, right? I don't know. It's part of my job to the people that support me is to look out for them and not just tell them news, but also to analyse news and say, guys, he's a fucking chancer. He's full of shit, right? Luke Chambers signed a new contract on fresh terms at Liverpool. He's a left back. He can play centre defence as well. And he's been with Liverpool since he was 6. And he spent the second half of the season on loan in the Scottish Premiership with Kilmarnock. And he was named in the matchday squad twice, or he has been, and has featured for the England under-19s, winning the European Championships last summer. It must be really difficult for these kids, when they've been with a club when they were 6 and then they get through to a certain age and don't make it, When you're 18, let's just say you're 18 and you've been there since you're 6, that's 12 years, that's the majority of your life. And, it must be really difficult for these kids. And anyway, I don't know if we already said anything about Alex McAllister, but again, I think he's, looks set. I'm sure we've mentioned him already, but I think he's receiving the most attention from Liverpool at the moment. Is there anything else? I don't know what you're thinking about Darwin Núñez at the moment. Like, everyone's got an opinion on that. I'm not feeling it very much from him at the moment. We obviously got to give him another season or whatever, but he's been very disappointing for me. I would like to see him given, a long run in the side. That's the only way I think strikers get confidence, really. You might have heard that former Liverpool midfielder Xabi Alonso is being linked with a possible, managerial position at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm not really sure how likely that is. It doesn't sound very possible to me. I mean, he's doing really well with Bayer Leverkusen. He took them away from relegation. He was appointed in October. I think they were second from bottom, and he got them up to about 6th the last time I looked. I haven't looked recently. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd be surprised if he left Leverkusen at the moment. I don't really know what to say to you about the current transfer targets, because there's nothing new, I don't think. I did say in a video yesterday, I don't know if you got to see it. I think it was yesterday. I was told about contact between Liverpool and some Portuguese clubs, one of them being Sporting and the other being Benfica. And it's Benfica that I think I said in a video yesterday, just listen out for any speculation, see if you see any players. Now, I know 2 of their players have been linked with us recently. But, again, it's just like an advisory thing, really. If you read a lot of newspaper reports or online reporting, if you see any, links crop up to do with Liverpool and Benfica, just pay a little bit more attention to them, because I know definitely that there has been contact with that club as well. So Liverpool sniffing around, looking at options and things like that. But don't go oh, right, it's going to be someone from Benfica then, because these clubs speak to dozens of clubs, right, guys, honestly. And I often see these put-down articles wrote by the official LFC website. I don't know if they've done any for a while. I never visit the site. But they used to put, articles on taking the piss, saying the 50 players linked with Liverpool this summer, or the 100 players, and to make it sound like everyone's lying, and they're not. You could be looking for a centre-back, and you might be linked. Liverpool might look at 10 centre-backs. Look at the midfielders this summer, all right? In that there's probably half a dozen potential candidates that Liverpool could go for, right? So how many have actually been linked? 20 more? These things happen, they do this, they do look at all these things. So, being on the blower to Benfica, what's the availability of blah, 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 would you be interested? These are just normal things. But when I hear them, I always think, when I hear them from someone that I trust, I always think, right, well, I'll just keep reading my stuff, and if I see anything over the next few days about Benfica or the coming weeks, it will be related to that, and I know there's something in it. So there was some comment by Glenn Johnson. He was saying that James Maddison, he has the ability to play for Liverpool. He says he's a very good player. He's been brilliant for City. At Leicester, James is a big fish in a smaller pond, and he gets the green light to go effectively wherever he wants on the pitch. At a top club where it's more structured, then he's not going to be given that freedom or be the main man, and you'd have to see how he adapts to those limitations. I do believe he's capable of playing for Liverpool if they were to ever join the race to sign him. And if he's not willing to be the big fish, then he can definitely approve at an even bigger club. Again, Maddison, definitely one of the players that Liverpool will, consider, but I wouldn't think he would be high up there on that list at the present time, like a fallback option or something like that. Now, we will quickly go through today's speculation. 90 Min, we don't listen to them, remember. Newcastle United owners are interested in PSG's Brazil forward Neymar as they look to make a marquee signing this summer. Football London say Chelsea are thought to be among the clubs keen on signing Argentina forward Lionel Messi when his PSG contract expires this summer. Relevo en Español in Spain. In Spanish, Wolves could offer Barcelona €30 million, £26.3 million, plus Portugal midfielder Ruben Neves for Spain midfielder Ansu Fati. Ruben Neves, given a little mention with us again by David Ornstein overnight on Sky Sports News. AS, Barcelona have turned their attention to signing Morocco midfielder Sofiane Amrabat from Fiorentina, which could boost Arsenal's hopes of signing Spain midfielder Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. The Telegraph, Manchester United are making good progress in talks over a new contract for England striker Marcus Rashford in the hope of pairing him with Tottenham's England striker Harry Kane. Arsenal and Aston Villa are among the clubs tracking Barcelona's Spain winger Ferran Torres, according to TalkSport. Fantastic play. We were linked with him a while ago. I was gutted that it didn't come to Liverpool, as I was gutted about Dusan Vlahovic, who the Telegraph say that Villa are also trying making it... Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. It says are considering a move for Juventus' Serbia striker Dusan Vlahovic. You don't consider a move for Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan Vlahovic is an outstanding player, in my opinion. And Aston Villa, if they signed Vlahovic and Torres, and we don't sign great players in the summer, I'm hanging myself. The Mirror, former Spain and Liverpool midfielder Xabi Alonso, right, that's the link with Tottenham, we know that. L'Equipe, which is a speculative French outlet, Manchester City and Portugal midfielder Bernardo Silva, and Crystal Palace's French winger, is it Michael Olise, are on a list of players that PSG are interested in. Guardian, Brighton are confident of signing former Liverpool midfielder James, well, we know all that. And they touch on Liverpool as stepping up their attempts to buy Argentina midfielder Alexis McAllister. Do you not think it's weird that the Brighton and Milner stuff has all been sorted around the same time that we had to sit down with the McAllister's agent and that? Do you know what I mean, guys? It's looking good, isn't it? Football Insider, who we don't pay attention to, say Fulham will demand more than 50 million this summer for 27-year-old Portugal midfielder Palhinha, who is a target for Liverpool and Bayern Munich. I have heard that name mentioned a bit, albeit not as strong as some of the others, but it's one to listen for. As is Kefren Thuram, who Football Insider say Newcastle are well placed to sign the 22-year-old France midfielder from Nice. I always want to say Nice. That's what it says to me on the screen. Who will be open to bids of 60 million this summer. The Telegraph, French forward Alain Saint-Maximin has been linked with leaving Newcastle, but the Tyneside club are not looking to sell the 26-year-old, although that stance could be tested with any bid above 40 million. Sky Sport Germany say Newcastle United have had Hungary midfielder Dominik Szoboszlai, 22, and 25-year-old Mali midfielder Amadou Hadera, who both play for Leipzig, watched by scouts a number of times this season. Prospective Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino will give Romelu Lukaku another chance to establish himself at the club when the Belgium striker, 29, returns from his loan at Inter Milan. That's Gazzetta dello Sport. I like Lukaku, I've got to be honest. If you get the chance to watch a documentary about him and how he started his career and his progression, I think it was on Netflix. So just look for the Lukaku documentary if you like your football. I thought it was good. The Mail, Harvey Barnes could follow England midfielder James Maddison by leaving Leicester this summer, with Newcastle, Tottenham and Villa thought to be tracking the 25-year-old. Football Insider, West Ham are concerned about losing Czech Republic midfielder Thomas Sukic, 28, this summer, as well as their captain and England midfielder Declan Rice. I do like Declan Rice, by the way. Fabrizio Romano, Mo Salah. Rice Nelson has rejected the first new contract proposal made by Arsenal, with many clubs in England and also abroad interested in a potential free transfer for the English winger. 90 minutes say Manchester City are close to finalising a new contract for versatile English defender Rico Lewis, who is 18. The Irish Independent say Republic of Ireland centre-half Andrew Bamadil, 20, has attracted interest from European clubs AC Milan and Nice, and he's rated at £20 million by his club Norwich City. So that's your rumours from your mainstream. I want to look at my emails. I know there's two from Adam Naylor, the YouTuber, Liverpool YouTuber. He says, "Afternoon, don't hope you're doing better, pal. YNWA." So Bellingham is off to Madrid by the looks, or is he? Sky Sources, which he quotes there, he says, claim they can't see the English clubs, City, United and Chelsea, will give up without a fight. Anyway, I'm fed up with it all, to be honest. I agree. If he wants to go to Madrid, let him go. Exactly. Fuck him. The only thing that doesn't make sense is that if the meeting took place in Liverpool, he surely didn't come all that way to say no to the club. So the club must have said no to him, unless his dad did it out of respect for the club to tell them face to face. I don't know. McAllister, I hope this one comes in. Honestly, I think he could be a big player for us, but I hope he isn't the big midfielder. I hope there is more to come. Mount, I think the longer this goes on, the less likely I see it happening. However, we have to see what the new manager of Chelsea wants to do. With Milner going, we desperately need homegrown players. We'll only have Henderson, Gomez, Trent, Kelleher, Jones, Carvalho, as Elliott wouldn't need registering due to his age, so hopefully we see a few of them coming in. Thiago, I think we need to sell him. Obviously, he's injured. He sent this email in a couple of days ago. He said, "I love the player. I followed him for years. I was so excited when we signed him. However, he isn't reliable to be fit. I think he's missed like 15 games already this season. So with his contract running down, I would ship him out, especially with his high wages too. We can't carry players like this anymore. We need to be more ruthless. Hopefully we will have a good summer." So that was the first email that Adam sent me. That was a couple of days ago. I guess that was for yesterday's episode, which I didn't do. Yeah, I mean, look, he hasn't signed for Madrid yet, so I hope he does, because I just don't want him to go to Man City or fucking hell, God forbid, Manchester United. Because I just don't want a summer of listening to all of it all. Do you know what I mean, guys? So please just sort it. Unfortunately, nothing has been, well, I say unfortunately because obviously you're not going to like me saying unfortunately, because there'll be loads of you that be going, "I hope he signs for us." Well, of course I feel exactly the same. I really do. It's a very weird one, very weird situation. I dropped a video into the chat room, KopTalk chat room. You can join it. It's free to join. It's T for Telegram, t.me/KopTalk chat, t.me/KopTalk chat, and also t.me/KopTalk news. You can drop into both of those. We have a chat room. You have to download an app called Telegram. It's free. It's like WhatsApp, but better. And unless you fuck around with your privacy settings, no one's going to know your name or your number or whatever. You can register an alias. You can hide your mobile number so no one will see that. You can leave it anytime. You can mute notifications. It's a really good place to have a conversation about LFC. And I put a video in there about Simon Jordan yesterday saying, he said, I would like to have seen Bellingham at Liverpool. Liverpool can afford him, but for some reason they've chosen not to afford him. So there you go. So I agree with Simon Jordan. I do like him, to be honest with you. So obviously Adam's making some great points there. And he's just followed up on this. He said, how about the Paul Joyce article on McAllister? Now, very funny timing. Mid-game where he's playing the other team, rumoured to be after him. Do you think it's the club trying to get it out there because we are confident? Or is it because something is wrong with the deal? Well, first of all, McAllister scoring that bloody penalty last night to beat the Scum was fantastic, as Brendan Rodgers would say. To be honest with you, I haven't really thought about that article. Usually when a club, when articles go out, Liverpool don't want anything out there to do with that, right? They don't want others to capitalise, to know what's going on. Anyone that's going to leak deals about it, about players possibly leaving somewhere or transfer negotiation, is usually the holding club so that they can gain more interest in the player. Or an agent if they're trying to get a better deal for their client. Any deal that Liverpool are interested in, wanting to happen, they're not going to want any journalist to be providing running commentary on that, because it's unhelpful. But yeah, you got to remember, when things go out in the press, as Adam knows, as I always say, the first thing I think is, right, well, who does this benefit? Why? Why am I reading it? And you can often work it out, you know what I mean? So if I look at, I'm running out of time desperately, I'm sorry. Adam, I have to go live on YouTube in 20 minutes. Yeah, I was just looking to see if I could find some that particular article. I would be able to find it. It's that one there, if it will load up for me. Do I have to be logged in? Oh, don't be doing this to me. I'm not going to do it because I will hold everything up, and I really do want to go live for you guys, and it's going to take me at least half an hour to get this completed and online. So I hope I've answered your questions. Usually I don't think there's anything wrong with the deal, to be honest with you. I am not thinking it's all done, but I do think it's very positive, and we'll just have to see. And I'm sure, Adam, that we'll talk on the stream or over the weekend about this, my friend. So if anybody wants to email the podcast, you can do so. It's podcast@koptalk.com, or go to www.koptalkpodcast.com and use the contact form. I want to give a shout out to everybody that supports this podcast, please. Please, why am I saying please? To get your nod. I'd like to give a shout out to those that do support this podcast, and every one of these names, if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be one. So you should show some fucking love and appreciation. www.koptalkpodcast.com if you want to become a patron of the podcast. And it's like buying me a drink once a month or whatever. It's just a little bit of support. And you can become a supporter, have all the adverts removed, listen to the private episodes when they come along. So let's give a shout out to the squad. So the supporters: Liam Buckland, James Braid, Jack Hughes, and Wayne Brown, Tom Brown, TG, Simon Digweed, Matt Bingley, Jimmy Nigrette, Jamie Gilmore, Harry, Hamza, Glyn Taylor, Clint, Aaron. Yes, they make up our supporters. Can you tell I'm rushing? We have the legends: Craig Halford, Tyler Dean Williams, Paul MC, Matt Meeker, James Lee, Jack Wood, Jack Rudgley, Big Wave Dave, and Andrew Evans. And then we have the royalty of the podcast as well. These are different tiers. We've got Michael Couchman, David Sutcliffe, and of course Adam Naylor himself. That's the squad. I am so grateful to every single one of those people that I have mentioned, some of them that have been with this podcast for years. I'm very grateful. I don't take anyone for granted. And I'll be honest with you, the podcast, it doesn't make a lot of revenue, but when it comes in once a month, it pays a bill. That's how I look at it. That's how my mum brought me up, So if it's 30 quid or whether it's 100 quid or 300 quid, I don't know. It's whatever you get off anything in life, revenue, I just look at it and think, well, that pays that. It certainly doesn't go in a savings account. You know what I mean, guys? So I do appreciate the support. www.koptalkpodcast.com. So I think I can bail on you now. I'd keep an eye out on everything. I'm going to be live over the weekend. Please follow KopTalk TV on YouTube. The Bellingham thing, you never say never until a player inks a contract, all right, and it is officially confirmed and registered. Jude Bellingham is available, all right? So anything can happen in football, guys, all right? Anything can happen in football. So unless you see an official announcement, you have to say to yourself, anything can happen. You never know. And yeah, it's clutching, but I've seen it happen many, many times over the last 25 years, trust me. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I've got to get live in 20 minutes. So let me see if I can quickly get this podcast on. Thanks ever so much for listening. I'll be back with you on Monday, all being well. If there's nothing happened to me or anything. And please do get some emails in. The emails encourage me and put me under pressure to record episodes. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. And hopefully we'll see you on YouTube at some point too.